It's given rise to groups like Chicago Women in Trades, whose mission is getting women in the door. For decades, they've trained women to become plumbers, electricians, pipe fitters, sheet metal workers. In recent years, the group has worked hard to meet what's expected to be a construction boom, with billions of new dollars approved for federal infrastructure projects. Jane Valinga is the group's executive director.
We have doubled our programs, we've doubled our staff, we've really tried to meet this moment.
At the heart of this, she says, is ensuring women have a path to good-paying middle-class jobs. In Chicago, a union carpenter earns $55 an hour. But now this progress is threatened. Trump revoked Johnson's executive order on his second day in office. Lauren Sugarman, now Valinga's colleague at Chicago Women in Trades, is mourning its end.
It is a huge loss, what's happening now.
In 1980, Sugarman was enrolled in a vocational program aimed at getting more women and African Americans into the steel mills. Then an industrial giant came calling, a well-known company that had won a federal contract to maintain and repair elevators for the Chicago Housing Authority. Under Johnson's executive order, the company had to at least try to recruit women. Sugarman recalls her interview.
I always called it a disinterview. It was basically, you don't want this job is too dirty for you, this job is too dangerous for a girl, you really won't like it.
She took the job anyway. It was hard work, and she did encounter problems. Sugarman says men grabbed her breasts and made rape jokes in packed elevators. But she stuck with the company for 6 years, eventually working on other projects, including at Sears Tower.
There were 100 elevators and escalators in the building, and at that point it was the tallest building in the world.
Now she wonders if the small forays that women have made in the trades will simply vanish. The Labor Department did not respond to NPR's request for comment. Now, Jane Valinga will tell you, the 1965 executive order and the government's work to enforce it only went so far.
None of these things were fantastic. I want to be clear about that. There was more of an emphasis on checking boxes, but it was something.
Now she fears some federal contractors won't bother to consider women at all.
They are not civil rights organizations, they're builders. For how many people will this fall off the priority list?
Plenty of women have proven they can do the work and do it well, she says. But you can prove nothing if you can't get your foot in the door. Andrea Hsu, NPR News.
This is NPR News.
He said that black smoke was constantly coming out of the burn pits 24/7. And my reaction to it was like, wow, that doesn't sound very safe. I wonder what that's about. And in my mind, I couldn't imagine at the time that type of system operating could potentially harm our service members.
Journalism that seeks and reveals. That's On Point with me, Meghna Chakrabarti.
Weekdays at 1 p.m. on WTJX FM 93.1, your NPR station in the Virgin Islands.
I'm Scott Simon, host of Weekend Edition Saturday. In these divided times, what could be more important than a conversation? Conversation with someone we don't know, someone we think we know, someone with whom we disagree or think we do. Join us as we ask questions of politicians, ranchers, parents, athletes, activists, gardeners, writers, and lots more. Then listen along with you.
Weekend Edition, Saturdays at 9 a.m. on WTJX FM 93.1, your NPR station in the Virgin Islands.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You know a good story when you hear it. Makes you feel, laugh, think. Sometimes you get a little teary. I'm Scott Simon, host of Weekend Edition Saturday, and each week we bring you stories from around the country and around the world. Stories that help you learn, make you smile, catch you by surprise. Please join us every Saturday for the news you need and the stories you won't forget.
Weekend Edition, Saturdays at 9 a.m. on WTJX FM 93.1, your NPR station in the Virgin Islands.
NPR News, I'm A. Martinez.
I'm Michelle Martin.
And I'm Layla Falden. Good morning. The year is 2035. A totalitarian United States run by an unpredictable and thin-skinned woman president is at war with a techno-authoritarian China. The war splits Taiwan in two, and a group of young people who meet in Hong Kong must each decide their role in the conflict. That's the plot of You Must Take Part in Revolution, a new graphic novel by journalist Melissa Chan and dissident artist Badiou Cao. The two have something in common. Neither can return to China because of their work critical of China's leadership and policies. They both join me now to discuss their new book. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. So, Melissa, where did this idea for the book come from?
I was staring at my collection of graphic novels from when I was a teen and thinking about the state of the world. At that time, President Donald Trump had just lost the election. There was also the turmoil in Hong Kong in terms of the protests, the student protest, and I was born in Hong Kong. So there was a confluence of geopolitical events happening at the time, and I just thought I wanted to do something like this.
And Badiou Cao, how about you? Where did this come from for you?
Well, like Melissa mentioned, that the Hong Kong protest resonated in me very deeply. Thus, when the idea come to make a fictional graphic novel about the resistance, it's irresistible that I have to do it.
I want to get to the plot. I mean, as you both point out, it starts with the protests in Hong Kong and these young people who are pushing to keep their freedoms. But then it gets bigger and it takes on the US and China's battle for supremacy in the world, and Taiwan at the center and its quest for sovereignty. Without giving away too much, describe the type of power each of the governments deploys in the story.
It's really interesting. We know China is a techno-authoritarian power now, and I think we were sort of projecting and wanting to project what it would look like in the future.
Right, because it takes place between 2019 and 2035, which isn't too far in the future.
Yeah, you may recall then Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi going to Taiwan and how much tension there was at the time. And we started looking at each other and wondering whether there would be a conflict between the United States and China even before our book came out.
Wow.
But there was a weird relationship between fact and fiction and the interplay of that.
As the book goes on, who is good and who is bad kind of gets murky as these two superpowers, the US and China, fight over Taiwan. In the end, what is the message here?
It's an interesting collaboration between Badiou Cao and I because Badiou Cao is an activist and I come from a journalistic background.
Yeah.
So what's been interesting in this process is that I think we might have different messages for the readers. When I look at protest movements around the world, you look at Hong Kong, but also in Thailand, in Myanmar, it looks as if taking to the streets isn't getting the kind of results that we used to see a few decades ago. And for me, it's a big open question in terms of how citizens hold their government to account and how citizens can also push for their government to become more democratic.
What about you, Badiou Cao?
You know, artists is not really in the role to providing answers, but rather ask questions. I do hope that this story will reflect the direction of this world and be very blunt, particularly in the perspective of Chinese dissident artists that do not just seeing the problem is only in the Chinese government, but also seeing the decay of democracy in the West, particularly in America at this moment, and need to grow up, not relying on any certain force, but make our own choice and change by ourselves.
As an activist and artist, Badiou Cao, and as a journalist, Melissa, you've both been punished for your work. Badiou Cao, you do art that pokes fun at the Chinese President Xi Jinping, that uses satire to shine a light on human rights abuses in China. And Melissa, your journalist visa in China was revoked for the work you've done. And I see censorship as a through line in the novel as well. Is this drawing on your own experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that another reason for why I wanted to work on a graphic novel was that actually looking at DC and Marvel Comics, I felt like so many people writing about authoritarianism in the fantasy world were Americans who might not have necessarily experienced living and working in an authoritarian country. And so I thought that I did have something to bring to the table in terms of my personal experience of surveillance and working and operating in authoritarian governments.
For me as an artist, I just have to try different media and try different platforms. For my gallery practice, yes, the Chinese government will try their best to always ensure that my exhibition is cancelled or the venue that holding my shows is harassed or under international repression. There's no guarantee that the space will be welcomed or safe. But the method to defeat it is just keep trying new things.
Is this book a warning?
I do think the story carries a bit of nature of warning because the similarity between the plot and what is going on in this world. But more than warning, I hope this work is a reminder of what happened in the history, like the Tiananmen massacre or the protests from Hong Kong. But more importantly, I hope this work will be a force of empowerment for the readers to realize that individuals are just not a powerless force in the society, that actually there is a lot of potential for individuals to make change in the scale of history if we believe our choices, if we act now.
Journalist Melissa Chan and artist Badiut So are the authors of the graphic novel You Must Take Part in Revolution. Thank you to you both.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
This is Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm Layla Falden.
I'm Michelle Martin.
And I'm A. Martinez.
Good morning. This is meteorologist Russ Murley with your WTJX local forecast for Thursday, March 13th. It'll be partly sunny with spotty showers. Temperatures 82 to 86 this afternoon. Northeast winds at 10 to 15. Overnight tonight, we'll look for a few spotty showers. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Showers likely tomorrow, 82 to 86. Tomorrow night, a few more showers, mid-70s. It'll be partly sunny with spotty showers on Saturday. High temperatures 82 to 86 degrees. Rip current risk will be mostly low, but we could see some moderate risk, particularly on north and east-facing beaches. So take care if you're headed into the surf zone, not only today, but tomorrow as well.
The views and opinions expressed on Analyze This are entirely those of the on-air participants and do not reflect those of the station's board, management, staff, or underwriters.
And good Thursday morning, and welcome to another edition. Pull the microphone closer to you. Welcome to another edition of Analyze This here on your NPR station in the U.S. Virgin Islands, WTJX FM 93.1. With yours truly, Neville James. Another beautiful day in paradise. We got a great show lined up for today. We're going to be talking with the dialysis center folks, the new treatment center that's going to be at the Sunny Isle Annex area in hour number 1 and hour number 2. The Casino Control Commission leadership is going to be joining us here in the studio as well as on the line. So let's get right to it. the Virgin Islands Healthcare Foundation. They are beaming right about now because a new dialysis clinic has opened in the Mid-Island area here on Sunny Isle. We've got Mr. Kevin Marusa here in the studio. Amina Salim is going to be joining us as well. I believe we're also going to have a patient advocate joining us on the phone in a little bit. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Pull that microphone close if you will. Get a little closer there. Introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is Kevin Marusa. I'm a patient at the new clinic.
The patient at the clinic, okay. The clinic is officially open, or?
It is, yes.
You know, that opened when? How
It's been
recently?
about almost 3 weeks now.
About 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay. And it has gone well?
Yeah, it's been great, actually, yeah.
Okay, good. You've been a dialysis patient?
Yes, sir.
Without getting into your business, because I don't want to, explain dialysis treatment to those who may not know. They may have heard about it, but if you can talk about the actual process, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. You arrive to the clinic, and you have to get buzzed into the.
Yeah, go ahead.
Buzzed into the door, and your greeting lady who works behind the counter, she will take you back to the clinic. They weigh you because since we don't have kidney function, we don't have a way to expel our waste.
Mm-hmm.
So water weight's very important. So they weigh you every morning to figure out how to get you to your dry weight, which is getting rid of your excess fluids.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get your temperature taken. The nurse comes up and takes all your vitals and everything and makes sure you're okay. And then you get on the machine. They take, me personally, I get 15 gauge needles, 2 needles inserted into my fistula in my arm. And one is to take the blood out, one is to put the blood back in.
Mm-hmm.
Runs through the machine, through a filter system, and puts the blood back in. Takes about 3.5, 4 hours. Patients' time vary depending on their needs.
How frequently on a weekly basis?
3 days a week, every other day.
3 weeks a week.
So yeah, I personally go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But they're gonna have the.
There's a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Correct.
deal as
Correct.
well?
Yes.
Okay, good. Also joining us on the line is Mr. Angel Rivera. Good morning, Mr. Rivera. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having us on again. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Angel.
Talk a little bit about your excitement that we've actually arrived at this point.
Oh yeah, this is a very exciting time for us. I mean, it's a lot of hard work, and I know about it because I took a part in it. And but we are finally here, finally making it.
No.
You know how they have that for tourism that says you are here, but we are here.
No.
Finally here.
No. This initiative started about 3.5, 4 years ago. Mr. Rivera?
Yes. And we've been fighting this from even before. We lost a few of our patients that have been very active in this. Mr. Wallace Bear and Mrs. Estes Bear. They have been the founders, along with Amina Salim, of the patient advocacy group. And it's because of them that I really got involved when I first got into dialysis in 2018. And it just really opened your eyes and know that there's light after dialysis. A lot of patients feel that this is the end. I was one of those, and no. And because of keeping up that fight, I'm still here. And I'm keeping up the fight still, although they are not here with us, but we're still keeping up the fight for them.
Well, we're joined here in the studio by Ms. Amina Salim, who is a patient advocate. Good morning, Amina. Glad to have you back.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Amina, like a kid in a candy store, man.
Yes. Very excited. I'm very excited. I'm happy to come here to talk to the community. It's been a long time since we came out and talked about the dialysis unit. But we didn't want to talk and complain on the radio. We didn't want to come saying we're doing this without having something. When we came on the radio, we wanted to say it's done.
Mm-hmm.
and it is done and it's open. So, good morning. I am the secretary on the board for the Virgin Islands Healthcare Foundation, and we have been working hard for the past 4 years to open this dialysis unit here in St. Croix. And we've opened it. Angel is on the line, and Angel has been a big part of this. He's an amazing person as far as being able to be on dialysis and still work. I mean, I'm not saying just work and advocate. Angel painted walls, did construction, did everything necessary to make this happen. And so he really worked with us. And he's a part of the reason why this happened, because when the patients came back from the States after the hurricane in 2017 and 2018, it was really apparent that they had had traumatic experiences. And they really wanted to make sure it didn't happen again to them. And so they started advocating. They were okay, they were in trailers. But then when a year later came in trailers, and they were still in trailers in 2019 and 2020, they started to be concerned, because every hurricane season, they were scared. They were worried that they were going to end up being shipped off again if something happened. If there was a hurricane and the trailers got blown away, there they were in the same position again.
No, before you get to that, the Healthcare Foundation was actually created in 2018.
Yes.
And it's a 501c3 nonprofit, right?
It's a 501c3 nonprofit.
Okay, good. And on the website, if you want, you can go to the website, vihcf.org. And it says to facilitate healthcare initiatives that empower, educate, and enhance the lives of the most vulnerable in the Virgin Islands community. When you came on the first time, Amina, this particular facility was originally part of a national network?
No, we were not. We formed this foundation just from local. It started, our president of the foundation is Dr. Jan Tauerkol.
Mm-hmm.
He is the founder and president of the foundation, and Rick Silver is also a member of the board, and I'm a member.
No, there wasn't some linkage with an entity on the mainland that had expertise or something like that?
Yes.
At one point?
Yes, and they are our partner.
No, that's what I meant. Okay,
Right.
I apologize.
They are our partners. So
Okay.
when the patients were in...
So we're not a part of a network. The entity is a partner with the healthcare
with the Healthcare Foundation.
Okay, good.
So
Yeah.
when the patients were in the States, many of them went to DCI dialysis units, and that's Dialysis Center Incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
And Wallace Fair and his wife really started advocating for the patients while they were away and when they came back. And DCI knew about us, and they even send things for the patients when they came back in 2018. They send blankets and some other things, some medical supplies for the patients in the dialysis unit. And so they were so impressed by the patients and so moved by it that they felt that they wanted to be involved. And that's when the conversation started with Dr. Tauerkol and Dr. Khan, that, how can what they said was, how can they help?
This is Dialysis Clinic, Inc.?
Inc.
Okay.
They said, how can they help?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we started thinking of what we can do and how we can get this done. But it was really that Wally Fair and Angel Rivera and Johan Cotto, those three came to us and said, you've got to build the dialysis unit. And we said, a dialysis unit, We weren't really prepared at that time, but they kept advocating for that. And at that time, they had been going around to senators and everybody talking about we need a stable dialysis unit.
Now, what is it about the Virgin Islands that DCI, outside of the beautiful people that we are, what is it about the Virgin Islands that DCI felt that this conjunctive effort could work and could be successful?
It was the people. Dr. Johnson, who is the president and founder and chairman of the board of DCI, it's now 50 years in existence, started dialysis unit in where he was. He started that just by collecting money on the corners in little barrels, buckets, getting to build the first dialysis center, because people don't understand, but dialysis is kind of fairly new. 60 years ago, only the rich really could afford to have dialysis. And so he started this, and he built the first dialysis unit just by getting donations from people in his community and for people who he knew. And when he saw the effort that we were putting about to start a dialysis unit, he said he wanted to help. And DCI has been the most unbelievable partner you ever can imagine. Whereas they, once they committed to us and partnering with us, they sent a angel, if I could say, whose name is Cassidy Addison, to us, who works for DCI and manages dialysis units, and she started working with us and came to meetings with us and started to see the lay of the land. They've got a business license here in the Virgin Islands, and they started to say this is going to happen and to make this happen with us. And so they worked very hard with us doing that.
Mr. Marisa, how long have you, when were you diagnosed?
I was 19 years old going in the Navy, and I got diagnosed with an extremely high protein count in my urine.
Wow.
And
did that affect you from going into the Navy?
Yes, sir. They denied me after the diagnosis. I have a rare disease called focal segmental glomerulosclerosis, and it ate my kid. By the time I was 27 years old, my kidneys had shrunk to the size of raisins.
Wow. But you're still here.
I'm still here. I've been on and off dialysis now since I was 27 years old.
Wow. No, the science, the evolution. You heard, because we learn as we go here and analyze this. Amina was talking about relatively new from a science standpoint. We're talking 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
And you've been a part of this now for decades. What's it like being a patient and hearing that there are certain things that may have been invented or found out that can work to your benefit?
It's incredibly interesting. Seeing the development over the years is, not a lot's changed. I definitely think the size of the machines have shrunk, and the filtration system is better, but it's still a machine and needles in your arm every other day.
How you feeling?
I feel good now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel great now, actually. They have to give you all your meds through the machine. They give you iron and vitamin D, and you get your Aranesp, which is it helps recreate red blood cells since our kidneys aren't there to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're getting all your meds to your machine and everything correctly, it's an amazing experience. It's been a 180 for me since the last 3 weeks that I've been with the new clinic.
How long you been living on St. Croix?
I've been here for 4 years now. I have family who've been here about 13.
What got you here on St. Croix?
All the kids are grown.
It's heaven, so I could see why people want to be here. But
I've been visiting since I was in my 20s.
You're originally from where?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh yeah,
Midwest. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Renal failure, Mr. Rivera. That's the diagnosis, right? My dad.
End stage renal failure.
My dad suffered from renal failure.
Yes.
But it wasn't a long period of time, before he ultimately passed. Once he was diagnosed, the same year actually. But everybody handles a diagnosis differently, right? This isn't a uniform thing, right?
Yes.
And there are some patients who simply don't want to go through the process, right?
Correct.
So that has to be, I don't want to say disheartening, but unfortunate, because there's a lot of work, a lot of research going on in medicine. Is this another example of why we need to trust the science? We went through a pandemic where, in a social media world where people see and read things and want to believe everything on its face. What's it like trying to get people to understand that there's a patience and a understanding variable that you need to embrace when you're dealing with science in general?
It's a bit hard, and here is why. Even many patients that are on dialysis, like I said, you feel it's the end of the world. You say, well, I'm not going to survive, because dialysis is a stigma where you're on dialysis, that's it. You're dead. Within a week or so, you're gone. But no, it's not. And Mr. Wallace Fair and Ms. Esther Fair, they taught me that, because I was to that stage too. And it's still happening, but we try to educate the patients.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the support group is really for, and what we've been trying to do.
So let me take a break. We're talking with Amina Salim, Mr. Kevin Marusa, Mr. Angel Rivera. The Virgin Islands Healthcare Foundation, the Dallas Center is in effect. We'll be back right after this.
Analyze This with Neville James is underwritten in part by the Virgin Islands Energy Office, powering policies and programs for a more sustainable tomorrow. The Virgin Islands Energy Office, proud to support public media in the Virgin Islands. Kids Expo, presented by the VI Children's Museum, Island Vibes Camp, and LJM Business Solutions at the Tutu Park Mall, Saturday, March 29th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's a day of play and activities, sports, programs, and much more at the Kids Expo. This is the WTJX FM Community Calendar. Saturday, March 16th, beginning at 9 a.m. on St. John, UVI's Great Mangrove Cleanup until noon will be held at Coral Bay. The community is invited to participate. And if you'd like your event aired on the WTJX Community Calendar, please send it at least 2 weeks in advance to news at WTJX.org.
WTJX, your NPR station in the Virgin Islands, is underwritten in part by Bank of St. Croix, offering Elevate Checking, a mobile banking app, and direct deposit. Online at bankofstcroix.com. Bank of St. Croix is proud to support public media in the Virgin Islands.
Music can be an incredibly personal experience. A song can inspire you, it can comfort you, it can make you feel understood, it can even take you back to a specific moment in your life. And it all begins with the artist. Join me, Raina Duras, as I get personal through in-depth interviews with your favorite musicians and find out where those songs come from on World Cafe.
Weekdays at 10 p.m. on WTJX FM.
And we're back here to analyze this. We got the good folks in the Virgin Islands Healthcare Foundation. The Dialysis Center is now open in the Sunny Isles Annex, right? It used to
It's
be.
in the Sunny Isles Annex in the old elections office.
How many chairs we got in the facility?
We have 13 chairs. We will be running, right now we're just started our second shift, and we're doing that. But people don't understand how dialysis works. You have to be dialyzed at least 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a shift that is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And that is, and that's in the morning shift. And then there's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
We have those 2 shifts going now. The next shift would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the evening. So
Okay.
there's 3 shifts a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will be bringing on the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday shifts. And that is in the morning. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday in the afternoon. And then eventually in the evening. So there are, it actually runs 6 days a week. 3 shifts each one of those days.
So that's when we reach maximum capacity.
Yes, and then we will be able to take on 78 patients.
No, that's awesome. Now, let me ask this question. Maintenance of the equipment, what have you. This is very highly sensitized equipment. How do you go about dealing that? That's a very important part, right?
Yes.
Because you can be subjecting and exposing patients, right?
Yes.
To each other. Yeah.
And that's the blessing and the beauty of this dialysis unit. It is managed by DCI. And so DCI is one of it's the largest nonprofit dialysis center business in the country nationally. They have over 250 dialysis units that they manage, and they have 100 hospital units that they manage.
Okay.
So we now are one of the units that they manage. So all of our employees are employees of DCI. They get trained by DCI. We have all the resources that DCI has available for them. They have sent down, building a dialysis unit, saying that you're going to build one and then building one is 2 different things.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have DCI send down their architects, engineers, all the people who specialize in opening units to come down here and work to help getting open, you know that you are you're on the right path. And then when you see that there are manuals for everything, there are manuals and procedures for the maintenance of all the equipment, for how you open, how you greet your patients, how you fix everything in that unit. It is a state-of-the-art unit where everything is hooked up to is computerized, so we don't have paper. It is all of your records are
digital, 100%.
digital
100%.
records, and your records are in the DCI database. So if you have to go to the States, if one of our patients has to go to the States, first of all, they could go to any one of the DCI units,
Mm-hmm.
and their records are there.
That's a benefit of being part of this nationwide, right?
Right.
Entity. Now, I know we're talking about dialysis, but I'd like to talk a little bit about healthcare in general, right?
Well, I want to say one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
March is National Kidney Month.
Okay, good.
And
Mhm.
today is National Kidney Day,
Okay,
March
okay.
13th.
So this what happened. You didn't tell me this. So this is what this like the stars are lighting for us. So
They are, because one of the big things for the foundation is we hope one day never to have a dialysis unit.
that nobody would be
Yeah,
affected by the
right.
disease. Afflicted by the disease, correct?
Because
Yeah.
we want to do a lot of prevention work.
Mhm.
And prevention work.
Well,
is
that's what I wanted to talk
prevention
about.
hours, Yes.
That's what I talked about because 19 years ago, my very first term, second year as a senator, I met with Dr. Andrew Bratman. He was the associate dean, and looks like he still is, the vice dean for NYU Medical School. Because at the time, I was looking at a potential medical school coming here in the Virgin Islands. But 3 or 4 years before that, remember there was this big thing about Touro College or some college that had wanted to located at Virgin Islands, but that's the politics. So I'm sitting there. I really, that's one of the days when you really feel like a senator. You're waking up 6:30 in the morning, you're driving through the city because you're going downtown. You're going to meet with this big wig at NYU. So I'm meeting with Dr. Bratman, and he told me, again, being educated, that if the Virgin Islands was looking at a medical school, potentially looking at a medical school, then you need to look at it from a potential retirement perspective because the weather is so great, right? Mm-hmm. So he was suggesting geriatrics, right? Mm-hmm. Right. But now that I'm having this discussion here, and I'm 20 years old, of course, dialysis treatment, right, is another potential area where people could come here and they're in beautiful weather, right? In addition to getting treated and all that. However, there has to be an investment, Amina, right? From the community, from the leadership, from the Virgin Islands. So we don't want for this particular center to open. Okay, it opened now, so just leave it alone and let wherever happen. And if we get patients, we get patients. What can we do to keep the consciousness level at the highest levels and potentially expand not only from a dialysis standpoint, but healthcare in general?
Well, the foundation, our whole purpose is really to kind of work with the patients and with the community as far as looking at healthcare and the disparities as far as healthcare is concerned and how we can fill in the gap. And it's one of those things that I don't think that the government understands as much, is that nonprofits are a gift to this community.
To any jurisdiction.
They do a lot of work because this is usually community people who say, I want to help. The government can't do everything, but we could help. And so we're hoping that the government looks to partnering more with more nonprofits, especially as far as health is concerned, because healthcare is important. And we spend so much money by people going off island to get healthcare. Well, dialysis is one of those things that you can't go off island for. If you go off island, you are stuck up there. And we have a lot of Virgin Islanders who have been stuck in the States because they couldn't come home. There was no space for them. Mm-hmm. And so having adequate health care, and people ask me, well, why are you doing this? You're not on dialysis. My husband was on dialysis for about 5 years, and I was a patient support co-chair with Kai Martin. And we worked hard at that time to keep going because someone has to fight and advocate for them. But I also know from that anyone could wake up the next morning and find out they have to go on dialysis. It's not, it's not just that you know it, no one plans for it. But if you are going to have to go, don't you want to have a state-of-the-art unit here available for you if one of your loved ones wants to go? And we just feel that Virgin Islanders our community deserves health care that's good and reasonable and reliable, and we feel that we can help. So that's why I said, instead of complaining on the radio and bashing health care, we said let's do it. And believe me, that was something that I thought we were crazy about, because it's cost about close to $3.5 million, $4 million to get this done. But we did, and I do have to say...
Yeah, you want to give a shout out to some
yes,
people who played a part in making it happen?
Very much, because when we said that we were going to do it, we had no idea how we were going to get it done. And no money. I looked at Dr. Tower Call and I said, are we crazy? But he said, but we said we were going to do it. And we started, getting donations and getting people help. DCI said they were going to come in and help. Mm-hmm. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, ARPA funds came available to the Virgin Islands. And we said, oh, my gosh, ARPA funds is just what we're talking about. What would happen if one of the dialysis units went down and they had no place for patients to go because of COVID? And we said that's what ARPA was for, and so we should really work and see if we could get some of this funding to make sure there's alternative places for people to go. And so we applied, and we asked the governor, and the governor said yes, and he gave us $1 million to do it out of the ARPA funds. And of course, as all things happen in the Virgin Islands, whereas we thought the $1 million would make it, it didn't. One, because water.
Yeah, but not only that, the supply chain issues.
The supply, because of COVID.
Cost of everything going up.
Everything went up because of COVID. Everything went up. Supply chain, everything we had priced was higher. And then we ran into the roadblock of water. Mm-hmm. People have no idea, but we have to have super pure water for dialysis. And every day you use about 16,000 gallons of water, flushing all the equipment out, flushing through everything that we do.
No, stop right there. If people listening to the show, they want to know, how can we be surrounded by water and have a water problem? So break that down, because it ain't just seawater. I mean, you got to desal process. You got a whole heap of different things you got to do, right?
So we have to use a lot of water, and we do not have reservoirs, so we desal all of our water, and it is WAPA water that we use. And unfortunately, WAPA water is very pure and good when it comes out of the pipes of the desal. The problem are
getting it from that particular point. To where you need it,
right?
To provide for your patients,
right? All the pipes are got issues, and so people understand that they get brown water with WAPA water, and what we were getting in the area that we are is brown water, and I don't mean just like a little brown water.
No. That was actually an area of concern,
right?
A high area of concern.
It was
2-3 years ago. Well, not even that long. Like a year and a half, 2 years ago, right?
And so, so it was so brown that the filtration method that we had to get a second one. So it has to be.
That's additional cost.
Yeah. We have 2 forms of filtration for our water, and we had to have reservoirs of storage of water, and so we had to even get an extra room so we could store water, just to ensure that we have pure water.
No, let me ask Mr. Rivera. You as a group, you're trying to get to the point that you're at now, but you're dealing with these. Frustration windows. Talk a little bit about how you had to keep your hopes up and want to believe that this was actually going to happen, notwithstanding the fact that you got to overcome some of these hurdles. Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, listen, the hurdles have been quite a few. Many hurdles. Financially, and finally, we were able to achieve it because of the help of the community.
Go ahead.
Yes. It was a very challenging time to get it done, especially like the water that Amina was talking about. It's quite a challenge to get pure water here, and we were able to do it. And I have to give thanks to the community, because this has been a true community effort. I reached out to many people I know, Mr. Wesley, that he does most of the reverse osmosis systems on the island, and he stepped in, and he was able to assist us locally to get our water purification system up. And that's the pre-purification system before it gets in to the main reverse osmosis system for dialysis. This is all that had to be done.
Well, I was referencing my meeting in 2006 with the NYU Associate Dean, the Vice Dean. But actually, one of the issues that we talk about here on the round table, Rocky Leibert, when he was a senator back in 1993, he wanted us to go. He wanted us to use water, right, as a means of being attracting people to the Virgin Islands, because obviously, in the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Marley says so in Rat Race, right? But the reality is, you got to use the natural elements that's in your ear, like with solar, right? We got energy crisis, and it would make sense in this Sun Belt. So, these are the things that we kind of take for granted, but they are here for a reason, and we need to maximize whatever assets we may have, so that when you hear Mr. Maruso, you said 180. You basically saying 180 for the last 3 weeks.
Absolutely, it's been a huge change. My family even noticed it.
Yeah.
Instead of coming home from dialysis and I would take a nap, I was wore out from the session, and I would sleep for a couple hours. And
that was one of the things that my dad was dealing with when he had his first set of sessions.
Yeah, it's hard on the body.
The human body can only withstand but so much.
You have to realize we're doing in 3.5, 4 hour sessions 3 days a week what everybody else's body does all day long every day.
Wow.
And
that's intense.
And it's intense on the body.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
A lot.
So now, the last 3 weeks, that has not been the case in terms of the quality of.
I have more energy now than I've had in years.
Wow.
I'm getting my iron. I'm getting.
Don't start bottling up my. I'm sure.
I can't help it.
I know it's going to happen.
I'm so happy. I listened to everybody's efforts that they've put in, and it's just amazing to see how this community's come together.
Yeah.
It's important.
But shouldn't we be coming together like this?
Absolutely.
Naturally.
Absolutely.
Because this is proof. That if the effort is there, and if the vision, right, and the commitment is there in everything that we attempt to do, it could work.
It could work.
It could work.
Communities coming together, all the people that supported us, friends who said you guys can do it. And that's
and
important.
we lost good people along the way.
The way, and it's so sad. And when we come back, I want to talk about that.
You sound like a radio host. I go look at you, the sitting for me one of these days. The song ain't good. You heard Mr. Salim. We're taking a break, and we'll be back right after this.
What is Registered Apprenticeship? Registered Apprenticeship is an employer-led career pathway where employers can develop and prepare their future workforce. Job seekers interested in apprenticeship will gain a high-quality paid work experience, classroom instruction, and a portable nationally recognized credential. All registered apprenticeships are industry vetted and are approved and validated by the U.S. Department of Labor and the VI State Apprenticeship Agency. Visit apprenticeshipvidol.gov or call 340-776-3700 extension 2080.
Traveling this spring? Whether you're vacationing or visiting family, you might have a special food you want to take with you. Just remember, food containing pork cannot enter any part of the U.S. or even travel between the mainland and the U.S. Virgin Islands. That's because pork can carry African swine fever, a virus that's harmless to humans but deadly to the pigs we rely on for food. To help stop the spread, don't pack pork when you travel this spring. You can learn more at USDA.gov. That's USDA.gov.
The PBS NewsHour has a rich legacy of in-depth reporting and strong storytelling.
Only 4 people have sat in that chair before us, and the enormity of this moment is not lost on me. People turn to us because they know they can hear from trusted sources of information and news.
That won't change a bit, even as the faces behind the desk change. Good evening. I'm Jeff Bennett.
And I'm Amna Navaz.
Weekdays at 7 p.m. on WTJX TV, Channel 12.
UVI's annual Friendraiser, Afternoon on the Green, is back on Sunday, March 16th from noon to 5 p.m. on UVI's Hermione Moore Golf Course on St. Thomas. Savor mouth-watering dishes and your favorite native drinks. There's fun for everyone with music like Climax Band and the Artists in Residence Jazz Collective, plus face painting, bounce houses, and games for the kids. Grab a lawn chair and head to the green. Visit aog.uvi.edu.
And we're back here and analyze this. It is World Kidney Day, and you can go to the website www.worldkidneyday.org, and you can see a lot of different links that you could click on. Also, it shows that this is a global thing.
Yes.
Amina, right? And this is big, and I didn't even know that. We just were fortunate that everything actually came together here today. So, there are a lot of people that we need to thank. I know you had introduced me. She came to the show with you. She was from Minnesota or Oregon. The young lady who was here with you,
Cassidy Addison. Did Cassidy come with us?
Wasn't Tyra's her name or something? No. When you first came here to promote this particular
Paula.
That's her name. Paula.
And Paula hopefully is listening. Paula has been with us since the beginning. Also, she works with us, and she is amazing. The actual organizing, because you can't do all this by yourself. You have to have someone who's organizing, who keeps everything going. It's a little late because we were at a 7:00 meeting. She's in Oregon right now, in Colorado right now.
Okay.
Because she had to go there. She went to help take care of her father, and so she had to leave. But when she left to the Virgin Islands, she did not just say, "Oh, I'm going. I'm not going to stay connected." She continued to work and do this work with us. She wanted to see it through.
But she got skin in the game. She been here.
She wanted to see it through.
Those early days, that when you're in the train and you ain't see no light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? And the light is now here, and we're grateful for that. By the way, I got event tomorrow.
We have the opening. The reason we're here.
The official opening taking place tomorrow.
The official opening and open house.
Open house,
and we're inviting anyone who wants to come and see it. We are so proud of it. We will all be in tears, so we have to have tissue boxes around because, I mean, Dr. Tower called, Dr. Khan, Cassidy Addison. Angel won't be able to be here tomorrow either. Paula won't be able to be here. But we have Dr. Johnson, who is the chairman of the board of DCI, and his son Keith Johnson, who is the vice president and of the board president of DCI, I think now. And they're here, and we have a lot of DCI staff coming here. And I mean, that shows their dedication. We're so proud to meet. I get to meet them, see them on Zoom all the time, but to see them and their commitment to the Virgin Islands. And so many people who have helped us. I mean, just been on there.
I didn't mean to jump in there. There is an aspect that I want you to explain as quickly as possible. There is a certificate of need, right? Requirement, right? So that comes through the Department of Health?
Through the Department of Health.
And how is your relationship with the Department of Health right now?
Our relationship is well. We're partners with the Department of Health. We got our certificate of need. There's a lot of things you have to get. You just don't open a dialysis unit. You have to get a certificate of need. You have to be certified by the government as far as being able that you've met all the requirements for a medical facility. You have to get CMS approval, and that is, for Medicare. Medicare has to come in here and check out and see your whole facility and have that CMS approval, and we got that also. So we have all the certifications that we need in order to open, and it was a lot, but we were able to do it. And people said, well, why did we actually finish like in the beginning of January? And people said, why didn't you have the opening then? But like I said, we like to not do things until it's done. And so we wanted to make sure that we were up and open and strong and had patients in there that were there. So we now have 24 patients that are coming to the dialysis unit, and we expect more. We understand that a number of people haven't switched over yet, and there might be they might be reserved and not sure how we're going, and that's why we want them to see, and their family members to see the facility, because once you see it, you will be so impressed. But we also understand that, and I'm hoping that those patients out there, if they're here or their family members, it's important that if you are going to come over to us, that you are going to sign up and do that, because there are about 30 people in the States who are waiting to come home. A lot of people went up to the States for medical. They were feeling sick and their family whisked them off and said, let's go to the States. And when they got to the States, they found out they had needed dialysis. And then they couldn't come home.
But as it stands right now, the center could accommodate 26 patients.
It's taking 26. We can accommodate more as they sign up.
As they sign up, but you were saying earlier that we got 2 shifts right now, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, morning and afternoon. Right? And then at some point, the evening shift
will come on.
Right? So
and the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Yes, so the evening shift would take us to maximum 39. And then when you double the days, right? That's how you get to 78.
78,
right? Okay.
Yes.
So right now, you have the ability to handle 26, but you need personnel in order to get that third shift, that night shift.
Yeah, we
right?
will be having that when we bring on the next shifts. We will get more personnel to do that.
Okay.
Angel is waiting to come on, and it's so heartbreaking that he couldn't be like our first patient. But Angel's on a Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday shift, and we just could not bring that on yet.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, go on, Daniel.
I must say, I mean, it's a bit, I won't say sad, but I'm very joyful. I'm very happy because I know what's the outcome. And the hard work that was put in, this is the result. So like I've told my doctor, I've told everyone, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm happy. I can wait. Let others go ahead because I'm in the process of a transplant program. That's why I can't be there tomorrow. Right now in Puerto Rico for some doctor's appointment. And, you know, this is the reason why. But I feel good. I have no problem. And I told them that, go ahead. You all do what you have to do. I don't want to interrupt, what's going on. My turn will come in due time. I always believe in putting others ahead of me, especially when it comes to medical. I have no problem waiting.
Well, I gonna be honest. I gonna tell you, I ain't got no problem with you wanting to be a giver and wanting to sacrifice. But, we need you to be a patient at this particular facility.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, enough of the Mr. Nice Guy thing with all that stuff, right? You need to be a patient at this facility. We love the giving and all that stuff, but it's only right that you be a patient there. So if you are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday patient, then that's a legitimate excuse, right? But once the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday thing kick in, right, there is no excuse. You need to be here, and this is home. Right?
No, well, actually, I already spoke to the staff.
No, we ain't blaming nobody. No, we're just saying that once everything come in place, right? You're coming home. We actually telling you what's going on. You're coming home and you're gonna be a patient at that facility. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. We just want to make that clear. You ain't really got no say in that. Okay? You're coming home and we're gonna take care of you.
But we hope he will be a patient, but not for long because we are hoping he gets his transplant.
Of course. That's the next thing too. That's what we're hoping for. So, I really can't. I'm just being tongue-in-cheek to a certain extent. I really can't tell people what to do and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But this is the positivity and, Crucian talking to Crucian telling you, you're coming home and all that stuff. You want to say something else?
Yes, I must say, what people understand, DCI holds what they do at a very high standard. That I must say. I mean, I've been to other units and everything, but what DCI does and how to do it, like Amina said, they have a manual for everything. They're by the book. And I've spoken to the nurse that started this. Her name is Olive. Let me tell you, she is strict and by the book. She's a little shorty, tiny lady, but she has a lot of umph in her. That's what it is.
Well, that's how we want. That's how we would want it to be.
That's what we want.
Yeah, that's what we want it to be.
That's why I'm so proud to know that DCI is with us and has stuck with us. We were concerned at one point that DCI may not, might back out because with financial and everything, and they told us, no, we're sticking with you guys. And that will really motivate us to just hang in there. It's been a rough road, but we've made it. We are here.
Well, we want to thank all of you for everything that you've done to see this through and make it happen. Now, Mr. Marusa, right? You say you're from the heartland, right? You're from Indianapolis, right? one of the things that a lot of us want, a lot of Virgin Islanders want, because we believe in our potential and our capacity, our aptitude, is that the Virgin Islands really should be a regional leader in a lot of different things. Based on what you've experienced, you believe that we could be a leader as it relates to dialysis care, regionally at least. I mean, territorial, obviously, we got to get our act together. But, we are an American jurisdiction. We do have contacts. Obviously, DCI is a mainland, is proof that the mainland, connectivity can make things happen.
Absolutely. The heart that I see here it's breathtaking, to be honest with you. They're very inspiring. I think they're on the right track. This is the right track. It's important to have for patient.
You think we have the attributes when you're living here for 4 years? If we were to come together and
absolutely, there's nothing you can't do.
Put the necessities in place that we could be a leader regionally.
Absolutely, yeah. The persistence is amazing. I mean, it really is. They've been fighting this battle for a while, and
how'd you find out about it?
Well, I had concerns about my previous treatments, and I just started reaching out. I needed an option.
It's a personal research thing you went through.
I felt like I needed some options, and I didn't really have many. So the more I reached out, the more I started meeting people in the community, and Paula was a big, she was a cornerstone for me. She talked me through a lot of stuff, and
I'll talk about that part, because I owe my life to healthcare. Right. My dad was a doctor. My mom worked for WIC, right, Women, Infant, and Children, right, Department of Health. And I'd see patients come to my dad's office, and they wouldn't have a medical issue. They needed somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And so I could sense from where you're going that's a part of the deal that you were dealing with as well. It wasn't just about the medical and the specialty, right? The specialty. It was about needing the Paulas of the world as a backboard, and I mean as an angel.
I was just amazed at the response that I got when I did reach out. It's inspiring, and Paula really helped keep my spirits up.
And that's important.
It's huge, especially for patients. It's great to know that I have an option now.
That's good.
Yeah.
So Amina, tomorrow, what time? The actual,
It's 4:00, 4 to 6 on Friday, March 14th, and we will be in the Sunny Isles Annex. You will see the tents up. You won't be able to miss us. We'll be in the parking lot. We're excited to have everyone, people who want to come in and see and just hear. And we're hoping that we bring that spirit on to this community, because there are a lot of people who helped us. But I did get a text, so I have to say
Go ahead. We got like 2 or 3 minutes.
Our next shift that we're bringing on is going to be the Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday shift. Okay, we're not going to... Morning and probably then afternoon. We're not going to bring the evening shifts on until you do the Tuesday,
Thursday, morning, and then afternoon.
So Angel is coming soon. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Oh yes.
See? Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much to making that happen. And it's natural.
Yeah, and I do want to thank some people because as we said, Angel, he is an unbelievable patient who just worked with us from the beginning. Paula, who's not here, but is always Paula Graber. She can't be with us tomorrow, but she's there. DCI, of course. Tip Top Construction, because Joey over in Tip Top Construction, he went above and beyond. He's part of us. He advocated.
He was sending me photos.
For us.
he was sending me photos of where you were and where you got to 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I know this is a pride of his eye as well. So thank you very much, Joey Hollins.
Yeah. Joey feels that he was part of the team, and he just wasn't just a contractor. He talked to people about us, like to you and other people. T-Box USA, because they helped us and they donated. They have a water system special piece, and when they heard what we were doing, they donated. So it was just unbelievable. Dr. Roloff in St. Thomas. Dr. Roloff donated so much money to us, but also went to St. Thomas and raised money, went to the St. Thomas Rotary Clubs and St. John Rotary Clubs and got donations and talked about us. He has been an amazing supporter, and with us, he will be there tomorrow, and he just supported us so much. Of course, Pleasant Healthcare, because Dr. Tower Call and Dr. Khan, they're part of the foundation and doing it, but they're just because they're doctors, their patients love them so much.
Governor Bryan?
And they really do it.
Yeah.
On our list, yes, Governor Albert Bryan.
He and I have spoken about it in the
he's
past.
Listening, I know.
Because he was saying, he keep telling you, Amina, tell me what you need.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He kept saying that.
He said I should have asked for $2 million
in the beginning. Correct.
I said yes, but we
yeah.
didn't know. But we did get $2 million from him all together, and Governor Bryan was a great help.
And we want to give a shout out to the Department of Health.
The Department of Health, Commissioner Encarnacion, Rick Silver, who's on our board, was a big donator, and of course the dialysis support groups and the dialysis patients.
Hold on. I'm not gonna kick you out. Hold on 1 second. We'll be back right after this.
I'm Aisha Roscoe, host of Weekend Edition Sunday, where we're not just interested in what's going on in the world, but why it's happening and how. Details are important, so are different points of view. We're dedicated to bringing you the stories behind the big events and the small ones too. Join us every Sunday morning for Weekend Edition from NPR News.
Weekend Edition, Sundays at 9 a.m. on WTJX FM 93.1, your NPR station in the Virgin Islands.
You know a good story when you hear it. Makes you feel, laugh, think. Sometimes you get a little teary. I'm Scott Simon, host of Weekend Edition Saturday, and each week we bring you stories from around the country and around the world. Stories that help you learn, make you smile, catch you by surprise. Please join us every Saturday for the news you need and the stories you won't forget.
Weekend Edition, Saturdays at 9 a.m. on WTJX FM 93.1, your NPR station in the Virgin Islands.
Good morning. This is meteorologist Russ Murley with your WTJX local forecast for Thursday, March 13th. It'll be partly sunny with spotty showers. Temperatures 82 to 86 this afternoon. Northeast winds at 10 to 15. Overnight tonight, we'll look for a few spotty showers. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Showers likely tomorrow, 82 to 86. Tomorrow night, a few more showers, mid-70s. It'll be partly sunny with spotty showers on Saturday. High temperatures 82 to 86 degrees. Rip current risk will be mostly low, but we could see some moderate risk, particularly on north and east-facing beaches. So take care if you're headed into the surf zone, not only today, but tomorrow as well.
WTJX 93.
We're back here wrapping up our conversation before we bring on the Casino Control Commission with the folks from the Virgin Islands Healthcare Foundation. We got new dialysis center at the Sanyal Annex. Is a official opening event tomorrow from 4 to 6 p.m. So come on out. You're going to see the tents there by where the elections office used to be. So, Amina, you want to recognize some people real quickly before we wrap up?
Yes, we are going to really want to thank Wallace and Estridge Fair, and we will be honoring them tomorrow with a plaque and dedicating our lobby to them. They worked hard and supported. Wally Fair, they started the patient support group almost 20 years ago. Okay, and they continued with it while he was on dialysis for many years. And so we are grateful to them, and we will honor them. And a nurse, Diane Amaro, who was a dedicated dialysis nurse in our treatment center, isolation room will be dedicated to her. But these are people who really worked and helped us, and there's so many people. Sunny Isles, I didn't get a chance to thank Sunny Isles because they're one of their partners also, because we're in there. They hung in there with us. It's been a long haul, but thank everybody in this community who gave us $10, $5, anything. There's so many people who donated, and we will continue to get donations, because as we talk about prevention and we talk about patients, if a patient wants to get a transplant, it's an expensive venture, especially because where we live. So we'd like to be able to have a fund to help them take those trips to the States that they have to stay in a hotel and there, and all the things that go through in doing that. We'd like to be able to help patients who can't pay for things to do something. So we will always be getting donations, and we are glad that we need more than one dialysis unit, and so we're glad to be that additional unit. We are not here to compete. We are to help and be available for all the people who need dialysis here. And when you talked about can we be a leader, as far as medical tourism, there are people who will be coming here because they know they can go to a dialysis unit. They know that DCI patients, if they did come to the Virgin Islands, they know that their records would follow them here because they'll be in this unit. So we could attract more people, yes, who are on vacation. We actually have someone from St. Thomas who hadn't been able to visit and stay for a while, who said, oh, wow, now I can come over and stay for a little while here. So it's a good thing, and we look forward to doing a lot more. The Virgin Islands Healthcare Foundation looks forward to doing a lot more for this community, and listen out for what we're doing. Our dialysis unit is called the Virgin Islands Healthcare Renal Center, because we feel that we are going to be doing everything kidney, and so that is on dialysis, but also some things in prevention.
Thank you very much, Amina, for joining us this morning. Mr. Maruso, it was nice to meet you.
My pleasure.
And continued success in dealing with your dialysis treatment. Mr. Rivera, looking forward to getting you back home. And congratulations, all the hard work that you put in over the years. We're seeing the fruits of that labor. Okay?
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would really like to invite, especially the patients. There are many patients that are reluctant to do the switch. You know what? People are fearful of change. And I tell anyone, give it a try. You cannot lose, okay? It's a different standard of treatment we're going to get in this new unit. Also, I would just like to thank everyone again for coming out and supporting what we have done. And please come tomorrow. I'm asking patients, family members, caregivers, come and take a look for yourself. Don't listen to anybody telling you on the road, okay? You're hearing it from the horse's mouth or from the goat mouth. You say I'm goat mouth, so let's see. This is going to work. And we want people to come out and take a look. Come and see what it is. Don't listen to what people are saying. Come and see it for yourself and be part of it.
Thank you very much, Angel Rivera. Thank you, Mr. Kevin Maruso. And thank you, Mami, Amina Salim. Okay? And congratulations.
Thank you very much, and come out tomorrow.
You deserve it, without a doubt. So I want to thank the Healthcare Foundation folks for joining us this morning to talk about the dialysis, the Virgin Islands Renal Center.
Renal Center.
Renal Center that's currently in the Mid-Island area here on St. Croix. That's Estate de Marubi, right?
Yes.
That's de Marubi. Okay, so thank you very much. Thanks a lot for joining us. Okay, appreciate that.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
Kevin Maruso and Amina Salim and Angel Rivera. Right now, we're going to bring the folks in from the Casino Control Commission to join us here in our number 2. Before I do that, though, let me give you some programming notes for tonight on Channel 12, because I haven't been doing that like I should have been doing that. Thursday the 13th, right? We got the PBS NewsHour at 7 p.m. Of course, don't forget we're back on daylight time now, right? This is daylight time, right? We're on daylight time. We're on standard time before, right? Sarah and Addie. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Marissa. Right? Be good. From 8 to 8:30. Amina, good to see you, as always. And also a second edition of Sarah and Addie 2.0 from 8:30 to 9. Then great performances at the Met. Okay? And it's a long one. This one going from 9 till maybe 12. Yeah. Right? Enjoy 6-time Grammy Award-winning composer Terence Blanchard's operatic retelling of the dramatic story of boxer Emil Griffith. 1 hour, right, tonight. Great. Morning, sir. How are you? Hey, morning. Not my big shots left and right up in this man. I like that. All right. So that's going to be from 9 to 12, okay? Great performances at the Met and the Terence Blanchard retelling of the dramatic story of boxer Emil Griffith out of Iraq. Okay, so that's from 9 to 12 tonight, okay? So the news hour from 7 to 8, 2 editions of Sierra and Addie, 8:30. Yeah, set that up. 8:30. 8 to 8:30 and 8:30 to 9. And then the Emil Griffith story from 9 to 12. So I want to thank the Healthcare Foundation and the Virgin Islands Renal Center for joining us in hour number 1. So we got the Casino Control Commission leadership. We got 2 commission members. We're also supposed to be joined on the phone by another member. They're not going to make it? Okay. So without any further ado, Marvin Pickering, Casino Control Commission Chairman. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Honorable. I am good. How are you?
I'm doing well. And Casino Control member, right?
Yes.
Luther Renee, former senator, 25th legislature. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Oh, good morning, sir.
Good to see you, man.
I'm glad to be here. Good to see you.
Man. Put that microphone a little closer.
Secretary Treasurer.
Secretary Treasurer.
That's
okay,
right. And before we move on, I'd like to acknowledge that we do have the St. Thomas St. John Representative Commissioner, who is Commissioner Carolyn P. Herman Purcell. She was scheduled to join us this morning, but unfortunately she can't at this. She's not available. And we are joined by our Executive Assistant, Miss Ramisha Smith. She's nervous. You can see her. I try to get her to relax. Just
a couch. I mean, she should be relaxed.
She should relax, right?
Yeah.
And you're the psychiatrist.
That's right. I'm the shrink. You know what I'm saying?
You're the shrink.
Well, look outside though. Look at that.
It's beautiful.
That vista should be a relaxing.
Yeah. It's another beautiful day in paradise.
Always.
Yes,
without a doubt. So I'm glad to have you here. Is March any particular month as it relates to gambling or casino gaming?
Yes. This is where this month, the month of March, is where we observe Problem Gambling Awareness Month. That's an observation that was put on by the National Council of Problem Gambling. They dedicated the month of March to make people aware of that there might be people out there with problem gambling issues, and they want to they established this to highlight those and where people could get help, et cetera, et cetera. So
isn't there another month as well?
Yes,
associated with
September.
Gaming?
September, and that's the American Gaming Association.
Okay.
And that's Responsible Gaming Education Month in September. Correct. We want to thank you for having us on, Neville, and affording us this opportunity to come to speak to the community, about this issue. And I know that you like to guide the ship, so
No. I was just going to say that I might sound like Saint Neville, but I'm not Saint Neville. Right?
Okay, all right.
I have been known to play some blackjack, you know what I'm saying, and all that stuff. And I play my horse. Everybody knows horse racing is intravenous with me, so they can't hold that against me. That came with me being who I am. Let me ask this question: how long you been on the Casino Control Commission?
This is my 5th year.
5th year?
Yes.
Came on in 2020 or 2019?
2020.
2020. Okay.
Yes.
And Commissioner Renee, good morning once again.
Good morning.
Don't be bashful on my show this morning, not Luther Renee. I noticed you're talking this smart, this quiety tone. not on my show. I remember when you were a big campaigner and successful and all that stuff, so please feel free to be that way. This morning. How long you been a member of the Casino Control Commission?
I got in June 2023, so
So you're the rookie.
I'm the rookie.
You're the baby. Okay. What's it been like? Been on the Casino Control Commission. Pull the microphone closer.
Very interesting. Layman on the outside would never understand what goes inside, but there's a lot and complicated work that goes inside, and valuable work, I must add. So it has been fun. I've been enjoying myself and learning a lot.
That's what I was going to ask you. The learning curve. Do lay people really have an understanding of how complex and comprehensive the gaming industry is?
No. As I said, I was a former senator. In fact, I was invited by Judge Peterson when the VLT was a big issue.
Judge Eileen Peterson, the original Casino Control Commission chair.
And I didn't know then what was involved in the gambling industry until I got in and realized what actually goes on. And so it's very important that we make the community aware what goes on.
Good.
By the way, before we move on, the CRCA was established back in 1995.
Yeah, that's the Casino Resort and Control Act.
Right,
Yeah.
Casino and Resort Control Act.
Yeah.
This is 30 years coming up in November. The commission is going to be.
I got a big shit dingo there.
Yeah, that's right. For the
putting up tent in the parking lot and all them dingo.
Oh, you've been down to the commission?
No, but I've been around. Don't let it breeze and looking like a young boy thing that I ain't got the age on me. I got the age on me. Right? So I'm hoping that we will get a nice little event there this fall.
And just to put in a plug for one of our licensees, DV is celebrating 25 years.
This month. This week or next week?
This week.
Yeah, I remember that. I was in Florida and I came back. I think it was I came back on Thursday, and that Friday night they opened on a Friday night up there in March.
So you had to put on your tuxedo.
I didn't go. I didn't go. No, I didn't go. I eventually worked my way up there, and the rest is history. 25 years seems like yesterday.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So let's paint the big picture before we bring in the executive assistant to say something. I don't want her to just sit there and just because she's naturally beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I probably gave myself in trouble, but you know something. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
When the Casino Resort and Control Act was adopted. What would the appropriate legislative term, right? Enacted. Right?
Yes.
The original statute allowed for as many as 7 casino licenses or six. I know there was a big one and then 6, right? Either 6 or 7.
I can't remember.
There was a big one, a big conference center. And it was based on hotel rooms. Right?
That is correct.
The metric was hotel rooms, right?
That's right.
And then you had the second tier, there were multiple tiers.
Right.
And I had about 3 in there. And then
the biggest was like 1,500
rooms, yeah.
Hotel, right?
Yeah. Full. No, okay, here's the number. Yeah. Coming back to me, the brain walking slow, right?
Okay.
It was 400 to 1,500 rooms. That's a big conference one, right?
Right.
Then the other tier, I believe, was
the class 2.
Yeah, class 2.
Yes.
That may have been like 200 to 399 rooms, something like that.
Right.
Right. Then you had the Divi tier.
Yes.
Right.
Which
and then
class
you had
3. Yes.
Class 3, and then there was a special tier for Virgin Islands, right? And,
yes, that is correct.
Virgin Islands, right? So the number was either 6 or 7, right?
Yes. And then came the class 4.
Yeah.
That's when VIGL came.
VIGL, correct?
Right.
So the question is this: how many active licenses do we have in effect for under the Casino Control Commission right now?
Casino licenses?
Casino licenses.
Yeah, we just have 2. We have the 2 casino, but we have a number of casino employee licenses and vendor licenses.
No. I'm talking. The reason why I asked a question like that.
Well, actually, right now,
because we had Rabbit Bay, we had what is my name, Golden, and all that stuff, all those stuff. So that's I want to ask it in that context.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I know that they were with
and the code that predated you. You know what I'm saying? Long
Robin
predated
Bay
you.
and Golden and all them. They had reservations and so forth. But technically speaking, we have 3.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah.
But one is about to expire
Correct.
Next month.
Correct. And that's the license that comes with being an operator at the racetrack.
That is correct.
Okay, good.
Yes.
And we'll get to that. And we're going to take up too much time on that one, either.
Yeah,
We'll
right.
take a
Yeah,
break. No, I'm
'cause
serious.
Yeah, for real.
It got a limit to everything, right? And I don't want to get into excessive rhetoric as it relates to what's going on down there. So as it stands right now, we got 2 active licenses on St. Croix, Divi and VIGL.
That is correct.
Right? If people with money ready to invest were to come to the Virgin Islands, how many open licenses or non-active licenses are eligible to access?
That's
pursuant to statute.
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's probably I know we have one under the class 4 for the Frederiksted district, and it is probably I'm guessing right now. But it's probably in the neighborhood of 4 or 5.
Neighborhood 4 or 5. No, that's good to know. That's good. I'm right, because I know there were a lot of different proposals and development ideas, right? So let me bring back in Luther Renee, right? Excuse me, Commissioner Renee. I apologize. Commissioner Renee, you were a politician like myself, elected official, and we were vested in wanting to do whatever we can to create economic activity in the Virgin Islands. You were labeled as the jobs senator. Jobs. That was your thing, right? It's one thing to want jobs, but it's another thing to have the capacity, right? Speak about that economically. So break that down so the public will understand what that is all about. It's one thing to want something, but you got to be able to have the ability to absorb what you want.
Absolutely. You may want the jobs, but you don't have the facilities and the infrastructure for it. So that's one thing. Second very important thing too is, do you have the personnel resources to equip or to provide the resources, the services that we need? For example, you may bring in hotels, but the hotels do not have locally
the workforce
to do the job. So that's very important too. So that brings me to the question of, are we preparing our people enough to take opportunities when they come to the Virgin Islands?
That's an excellent question to segue to our break. When we come back, we'll get the executive assistant to say something on the mic, and then I will continue to break down what we're dealing with here with casino gaming in the territory and problem gambling, right?
Absolutely.
So we don't want to ignore that. We got the Casino Commission, Casino Control Commission in the house. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.
WTJX, your NPR station in the Virgin Islands, is underwritten in part by Bank of St. Croix, offering Elevate Checking, a mobile banking app, and direct deposit. Online at bankofstcroix.com. Bank of St. Croix is proud to support public media in the Virgin Islands. Traveling this spring? Whether you're vacationing or visiting family, you might have a special food you want to take with you. Just remember, food containing pork cannot enter any part of the U.S. or even travel between the mainland and the U.S. Virgin Islands. That's because pork can carry African swine fever, a virus that's harmless to humans but deadly to the pigs we rely on for food. To help stop the spread, don't pack pork when you travel this spring. You can learn more at USDA.gov. That's USDA.gov.
Ready to put the pedal to the metal? Go full speed ahead with MotorWeek. Whether you want a cleaner commuter, a family-friendly hauler, or to keep your drive running longer,
this is actually a great trick for extending the life of your engine.
Our experts have you covered. Hit the road, track, and trail with us every week. I'm John Davis. Never miss a mile of MotorWeek.
Tune in Saturdays at 3 p.m. on WTJX TV Channel 12.
The Virgin Islands Energy Office is committed to delivering relief now to Virgin Islanders who want help ensuring their energy security. As the territory's sustainable energy policy lead, the office is working to put in place the infrastructure needed to support the adoption of electric vehicles, residential battery energy storage solutions, and the green workforce needed to service these technologies. Visit their website at energy.vi.
And we're back here and analyze this. We got the Casino Control Commission here in the house. Slide the microphone over there to Ms. Smith real quickly so we could get her voice on the mic. Good morning, Ms. Romisha Smith.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Who is Romisha Smith?
Romisha Smith is the Executive Assistant of the Casino Control Commission Office.
You one on we man? Come from Virgin Island, come from St. Croix, what?
Yes, born and raised here.
Yeah? What school you went to?
I went to Alfredo Andrews School.
Yeah?
I went to
Middle
Central
of,
High School.
Middle of the island?
Yes.
Went to John Woodson?
I went to John Woodson.
Right? Okay, good. Educated on the mainland? Or did you do everything here?
I educated in the mainland, yes. I did my studies while I was in the military.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations, man. Good. We need to give our props if it weren't for we wouldn't be able to be like this. Anytime overseas?
Yes. 3 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which way? East or west?
I've been to South Korea.
For real?
Yes.
One of the things, when we were small, right? Our basketball, a lot of basketball players, they go to South Korea and then, like Bonnie and Paul McIntosh, them and so on, they come back with all these nice clothes. Did you see that over there? These matching athletic wear and all that stuff. Them man used to get at this, so we could get at in Korea for next to nothing.
Yep.
That's real?
It's all there, yes.
So that's not a fantasy. That's real.
That is real.
Okay, good. Were you homesick? Did you look forward to coming back home and getting back into this perfect weather right here?
Yes, I sure did. The winters were harsh.
Good. So you enjoy being executive assistant at the Casino Control Commission?
I do.
Okay. We label her support staff or leadership? She's part of the leadership team.
Yeah, right now, support
staff,
and that's right. But actually, she's an all-rounder.
Yeah, she's a conduit, though. Right? She's a conduit between the support staff.
She has some excellent skills. She supports. She supports the leadership team.
Mm-hmm.
She's primarily responsible for the finances and HR stuff, and she just pitches in wherever she can.
That's good. I want to give a shout out to Executive Director Linda Smith. That's my childhood, school age, you know what I'm saying? So, Ms. Smith, you can't say that I ain't give you a shout out when the Casino Control Commission. You like to complain, I like to beat up, not this time. Okay, so we're good with that.
That's right. We have two Smiths. We have E.D. Smith and we have E.A. Smith.
Yeah. Smith and Smith, right?
Smith and Smith.
So, let's talk numbers, right? Because the numbers man actually segued us there and all that good stuff. And I myself, I dabble in numbers a little bit, right? Gaming itself, right? Let's create understanding for the public, right? The Casino Control Commission ain't responsible for bringing casinos to the Virgin Islands. The Casino Control Commission is a regulatory agency, so that when potential developers come to the Virgin Islands, they know there's an umbrella that's going to be watching everything they're doing, and whatever they do has to be on the up and up. Pick it up from there.
Absolutely, and every entity that touches the casino must pass through the Casino Control Commission, whether to be licensed or exempted from licensure.
You can be exempted from licensure?
Yes, you can be.
Okay.
And there are a couple of conditions for that. If you're a vendor, whether gaming related or non-gaming related, if your annual receipts from the casino licenses, less than $50,000, you could be exempted.
Okay.
And we on certain expenditures below $1,000 could that licensure could be waived as well.
Okay.
So
I'm learning as we go. I didn't know that. So
yes,
that's good.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Now, let's go back to the history, and this might predate Miss Smith, right?
Well, she's been there longer than me.
Wow. So you a baby with all that big talk. You a baby in the casino too. Okay, it's all good. No, I talk in 92, right? 1992.
Okay.
Because if my memory serves me correct.
But that's before the establishment of the enactment of CRCA.
Well, I come into
yes,
that.
Yes,
I come into that, which was 95. But it all came about pursuant to a referendum.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
it was a referendum, right?
Yes.
And there was public support. We had been slammed by Hurricane Hugo in 89.
Yes.
And our hotel inventory, right? Casinos in the Virgin Islands wasn't because people wanted gambling. It was a means of us trying to get our hotel inventory back to where it was pre-September 1989, right? That hasn't panned out like we thought it would, right? But you know what? It is what it is. Job creation is absolutely critical in a consumer-driven economy. Can we all agree that this is a consumer-driven economy?
Absolutely.
We're dealing with here, right? So we don't really manufacture like we once did with the oil and aluminum with Hess and Harvey. Should we give up on the notion that other potential developments associated with gaming can happen in the Virgin Islands because so many have passed through and haven't bear fruit?
That's for me or for?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Any one of you. Yeah.
Mr.
Rennie, you take that one.
Are you suggesting that we
Golden gaming? No. I'm just asking this question out loud for the public who is looking at it. You passed legislation in '95, Golden Gaming, Annalee Bay, Robin Bay, right? That's
Amalago
and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And they haven't materialized. The only one to date has been Divi and of course VIGL 8 years ago or thereabouts, 2006, May 2016, almost 9 years. Should have we capped out?
I don't think so. And I think it's not because those have failed in the past that we should give up on attracting new ones. I mean,
what do we have to do so that we don't have the Robin Bays, the Amalago, the Golden Gaming, the Annalee Bays, where it didn't pan out? Is there something that we can do locally to facilitate making them a successful bidder as opposed to unsuccessful?
Number one, I think that job would fall under probably EDA and tourism. And tourism, not the CCC per se.
Correct.
But those entities seeking to come to the Virgin Islands would have to do their homework too, because we have rules and regs that must be followed. But in terms of just numbers, the numbers I see from those two casinos that we have, we should attract new people.
That's the answer I was looking for.
But here's the other thing too. I mean, they're within the law. I know that I can't remember the specific name of the law of the act or the section of the code, but there are provisions that could provide benefits, to potential investors looking to come in and establish a casino hotel operation. But as Commissioner Renee said, they have to do their homework. We've had discussions, about potential hotel development, but they haven't really panned out. Hopefully, that could happen in the near future. But the commission is always open to sit with people and have those discussions.
No, but I'm glad you went there, right? Because Commissioner Renee, right, Senator Renee, mentioned, right, that due diligence is required, right? However, we can't ignore history, right? So let me ask this question, and this is an opinionated question. When I first know myself, we had Eastern, we had American Airlines, we had Pan Am, we had more hotel room. Isn't that a variable as well in terms of the fact that by the time we got to casino legislation in the mid-90s and Divi opening up in 2000, we didn't have that airlift coming into the Virgin Islands? Isn't that a variable as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's not just about the Casino Control Commission and all that stuff. There are other variables that play a part in the potential development of an industry.
I wholeheartedly agree. And it's like, the
chicken and the egg.
Which came first?
Or the horse, or the horse and the cart and all that, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. So the question is this: if we had that kind of activity, that airlift, that we had when I was a little boy. When summertime come, I got to go to Antigua. My mother put me on Caribbean. Remember Caribbean back in the day?
Oh yes.
And or when I go in New York to my godmother and that kind of thing, and Eastern and American. If we had that type of airlift, Mr. Rene, you believe we'd be better off as it relates to potential development?
Unquestionable.
That's the answer I want to hear.
Unquestionable.
Yeah.
Because I mean, to go to any of the islands in the Eastern Caribbean now, you've got to fly to Miami.
Imagine that. You go fly north to go south.
To go south.
Yeah.
So if we had the airlift and the travelers that we expect, definitely casino would do a lot better. And
we also had an airline called BWIA.
Right.
Remember that one, right?
Yes.
And that one used to fly throughout Liat and all that stuff. Let's fly throughout the Caribbean. So, Mr. Chairman, when we're talking to the public, we want them to understand that it ain't just about wanting to game. There are other variables that are required that make the end result a reality.
Absolutely. And what are the things that as I want to make sure that I get this out, and you like numbers. I like numbers. And I want to say this. We're here to discuss problem gambling.
Yeah, we'll get to
and that has been taken sometimes out of context when we try to highlight problem gambling or responsible gambling. People sometimes say you're anti-gambling. We are not anti-gambling. We want people to gamble, but we want them to do it. But we want them to do it responsibly.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me give you some numbers. In the last 3 years, they and you know this term, the handle in
the churn.
Yeah, right. Here on St. Croix alone, the two casinos. A little under $300 million, $290 million, right? That's a handle.
That's a handle.
That's a handle.
What's
right?
the take?
And the take is $51 million.
Which is the law, and see, that's why I love math, you know what I mean?
Yes.
1/6, right? Thereabouts, right?
Right, thereabouts.
17%, correct.
Right. Boy, I knew you were going to say that.
No, you know that. You know that. So just to break that down to the lay people, right? When you're gambling, you're $1, right? 83 cents out of that dollar or thereabouts goes back to all of those who gaming to share, right?
Yes.
And the 16-17% is the house. That's the take to allow for them to actually have the operation functioning. Just want to break that down from a dollar, the breakdown of a dollar perspective.
And from that $51 million, 12% tax is paid on that.
Well, so that's so that's what, $6 million or thereabouts, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got your numbers. You got your numbers, correct?
I learned from the man himself. You know what I'm saying?
As an aside, Rocky was in the office the other day, and the two of them were reminiscing. Rocky was calling him Mr. GDP.
Mr. GDP, yeah. I like that one.
And speaking of job creation, in the past 3 years, the payroll for these two casino hotels, of course, you have to have a hotel to have a casino. Their payroll was around, in the last 3 years, about $30 million. Okay.
So deduct that
from
the 45 or 44 million. We don't take out the 6 out of the 50 or 51.
Correct.
Right. So then you're looking at a profit, and you still got more bills to pay before you actually deal with profit. They got overhead, all that stuff.
And we keep track of that too. Those numbers, right?
You got to, yeah.
And so last 3 years, about $62 million paid. From those other services, goods and services that the casinos need.
But ain't just limited to expenditures. And I'm gonna bring back in Luther right now. Circulation of dollar as a result, right? We're talking 300 million gambled, 250 thereabouts going back to the community, $50 million or thereabouts in terms of take and all that stuff. It ain't just about that $50 million.
No.
The circulation out of that $50 million plays a part as well.
Absolutely.
Speak directly to them.
There's a multiplier effect.
Correct.
The first batch of circulation creates further economic activity that really stimulates the economy even further. So you could multiply that even sometimes by 10 times.
Wow.
Just to revitalize the economy.
Yeah,
so there is enough.
The liquid. That's what we're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
And again, 300 employees in this industry just for these two casinos. 300 employees.
Wow.
And they in turn, speaking of circulation, you know, they spend as well, right? Generating grocery taxes,
yeah,
income
man.
taxes, etc. So that's how that works.
Property taxes, because they got to live here. Bank
Exactly.
activity,
That's
by
right.
living here, go and make mortgages and all that stuff. That's why it's important, and I could talk to you in this regard, and we're going to save the last segment for problem gaming. So we go do that. Don't worry about that part, right? No, I'm serious. I just want the public to know that. You came here to talk about that, and I don't want to ignore that just because I'm a lover of numbers, right? That the public is aware of what the term that Commissioner Ray used with multipliers. As a sports junkie, the new term is force multiplier, right? And the force multiplier is the ability to create work, right?
Yes.
Right? And doing that, right, it allows for the government to generate revenues so that its employees can get paid. And
Right.
they themselves now are going out and building homes and getting mortgages and then doing other businesses, side businesses as well.
That's right.
So we have an obligation to educate the public, don't you think, Commissioner, Mr. Chairman?
Absolutely. And here's the thing, like you went there, of the tax revenues from the casino revenue fund, that 12% tax, the commission gets 25% for our operations. 75% of those revenues are allocated to other government agencies, such as the police department, such as sports, parks, and recreation, such as Department of Health. Agriculture,
Olympic Committee,
that's right.
all the different things.
And that takes a strain off of the general fund.
That's right.
Right?
Because they got the general fund would have to be paying those bills if we didn't have the entity that is generating revenue through gaming.
Right. So we
force multiplier.
Force multiplier. We would like to have the casino and gaming industry, nice and healthy to provide those economic benefits and we're just talking. We know that there's gaming in the St. Thomas and John district.
Correct.
Right? And those numbers are not included in ours.
This is limited
to St. Croix.
The parameters for this activity is St. Croix.
That is absolutely correct.
Wow. You can't be just coming to my show in March and September when it's problem gaming. What the next one be responsible with it?
Responsible gaming.
I can't come in March and September when we got so much. This is, and the name of the show, analyze this. This is the type of thing that we need to be doing on a more frequent basis. So Ms. Smith, make it happen. Okay? I'm asking you personally. Thank you very much. That's Ms. Ramisha Smith, right? She's listening and absorbing, and she gonna break them over the codes when they go back to the building.
I'm gonna pass the mic over to her when we come back. So she's gonna talk about PGA.
Without a doubt, we'll take a break and be back, and we're gonna talk about problem gaming right after this.
All right.
In March, the Virgin Islands Police Department, in conjunction with event sponsor Senators Dwayne DeGraff and Franklin Johnson, are offering cash for guns, no questions or ID asked. Just bring your guns and get cash at fair appraised value with an appraiser on site. Saturday, March 8th on St. Croix at the Rudolph Schulterburn Agriculture Grounds East Entrance. On St. Thomas, Saturday, March 22nd at the Omar Brown Fire Station. And on St. John, Saturday, March 29th, location to be announced. 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. at all locations. This is a Virgin Islands Police Department gun buyback program initiative, along with event sponsors Senators Dwayne DeGraff and Franklin Johnson, offering cash for guns, no questions or ID asked. Just bring your guns and get cash at fair appraised value with an appraiser on site. Saturday, March 8th on St. Croix at the Rudolph Schulterbrand Agriculture Grounds East Entrance. St. Thomas, Saturday, March 22nd at the Omar Brown Fire Station. And on St. John, Saturday, March 29th, location to be announced, 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. all locations.
You know a good story when you hear it. Makes you feel, laugh, think. Sometimes you get a little teary. I'm Scott Simon, host of Weekend Edition Saturday, and each week we bring you stories from around the country and around the world. Stories that help you learn, make you smile, catch you by surprise. Please join us every Saturday for the news you need and the stories you won't forget.
Weekend Edition, Saturdays at 9 a.m. on WTJX FM 93.1, your NPR station in the Virgin Islands.
This is the WTJX FM Community Calendar. Our town, Frederiksted, invites the community to a free waterfront concert with local talent and featured performances, food, and a stunning sunset over the Frederiksted waterfront. Admission is free. Friday, March 21st, beginning at
And we're back here and analyze this. And one of my listeners that I met last week via telephone, his name is Edwin Melendez. He called me from Yabucoa in Puerto Rico, right? And so he just texted me. He just sent me an emoji laughing, so I asked if he liked the discussion. So I'm waiting for him to respond. So with him doing that, and before we go to Ms. Smith to talk about problem gambling and what the Casino Commission is focusing on to address that, I decided to look up the gaming revenue in Puerto Rico. Now, Puerto Rico, people like to compare the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, even as it's a have versus have-nots from a volume standpoint, right?
All right.
4 million, 3.5 million, whatever it was, right? I was looking at 40 times more, 100,000, 4 million, right? We're now at 85,000, and they had some attrition as well, right? So you said, right, that the gaming revenue for the Virgin Islands is $50 million?
Yeah. Closer to 51, yes.
Right. The gaming industry in Puerto Rico generated $186 million in revenue. That means if you compare it, the gaming activity in the Virgin Islands per capita crushing Puerto Rico, man.
Absolutely.
Right. Eh?
Yes.
And I know man from the Virgin Islands used to have on plane going away to go Puerto Rico to go casino. And we doing this kind of, the appetite for gaming in the Virgin Islands is real.
It's real. Very real.
Wow.
And again, our numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our numbers are, numbers for the two casinos.
That's they even a Virgin Islands thing.
It's a Virgin Islands
thing. It's an island versus the island of the 40,000 population, 45,000 population, and St. Croix versus all of Puerto Rico.
That's right.
Wow. This thing freaking me out. Let me pass the microphone to Ms. Smith. Let me catch.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. Something you handle this part. Go right ahead. I yield.
I was going to say that since our last appearance here, which was either September, right?
Yeah.
We've done a number of things as far as problem gambling and responsible gaming, and I'm gonna turn it over to her so she could speak to those things.
This is how I think. I run this segment. Go right ahead, Ms. Smith.
Good morning once again. So with problem gambling,
definition. Define problem gambling.
Problem gambling is
generally,
generally if gaming isn't fun, if it controls your purpose of going to the casino. So it's defined as excuse me.
Go ahead. No, don't worry about that. Go ahead.
All gambling behavior patterns that compromise, disrupt, or damage personal, family, or vocational pursuits.
Mm-hmm.
So symptoms include increasing preoccupation with gambling, a need to bet more money more frequently, restlessness or irritability when attempting to stop, chasing losses, loss of control seen by continuation of the gambling behavior despite mounting serious negative consequences. So with those listed, we would consider that as problem gambling.
Mm-hmm. Once a problem gambler is identified, what can the Casino Commission provide or do based on the parameters I walk in between and under?
Talk about Playwise.
Yeah.
Well, we recently launched playwisevi.org.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's a website providing problem gambling information and assistance to people in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we are currently working on publicizing this website, and with the assistance of our licensees, which are the casinos, who have posted signs on the casino floor and electronically where feasible. We have also reached out to other local partners and stakeholders as this territory-wide campaign, and we want to post a signage where the problem might exist.
Playwise.org?
Playwisevi.
Playwisevi.org. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Now, you work with the casinos?
We work with the casinos
yeah.
To help promote.
Mm-hmm.
And we recently actually signed a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Health.
Okay, good.
And we did that in October of 2024. Right now, we're funding to have at least 6 counselors licensed.
Okay, that's a good thing.
To provide counseling services to those in need. The training has already begun.
Okay.
And once the counselors are certified, they'll be listed on the site. Anybody can reach out to them if they feel it's anonymous. They feel they have a problem, and they need to talk to someone. Their families want to reach out. They can do that as well.
How prevalent is the problem on St. Croix? Don't be afraid. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high, 5 being moderate, 1 being poor, in your opinion, or based on the data?
We don't currently have those statistics. But what we do know is that we have a voluntary self-exclusion program.
I'm aware of that. Talk a little bit about that.
That people who feel that they have a problem could come into the office.
And that's still in effect.
That's still in effect, right?
And they call 86 themselves. That's the term, right? Where would the number be, right?
86D. 86D. But that's when the casino kick you out.
Which sometimes is necessary.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that has happened.
Yeah.
We know that. But part of the thing, as Ms. Smith just mentioned, with this Playwise VI website, that is one way of gathering this information. People who visit the website, and it's all confidential, right? It's all confidential. We have information that is all confidential, but to gather the numbers, and that serves a couple of purposes. Where once we get that, we could measure to some extent the extent of the problem, and that we could take it to say that 1% that we're getting from the casino revenue fund probably needs to increase to 2 or 3%, so that we could provide these services.
Not wrong. Mr. Rene, you are numbers man, right? And we got the Racino legislation that I authored in 2009, 2010, and we amended it 2011, right? I gonna break this down for you, and then you go. Yeah, you go.
Was it also amended in 16 as well?
We later on down the road, yeah. But the actual Racino legislation, right? That we amended. So I wanted to check out these numbers, right? This is off the top of my head, right? We finally got the Racino approved in 2011. At that particular time, I believe the members were Roderick Moorhead, Henry Richardson, and I think Eileen Peterson was still there. Or she had already gone? No, she had gone. Violet and Golden, yes. Right? So check this out, Mr. Rene. The casino, Davy, 300 machines, 14.4 million, 300 machines up there. The racetrack, 30 machines, 4.8 million. They were generating, right, with 10% of the machines at the casino, 33% of what the casino were doing, which means just from a market standpoint, right, per machine, they were dominating what was going on up there. Now, that could also be problem gambling from the standpoint that the appetite to gamble is so real, right? But it really shows that there is a market within this small 26-mile long island, 84 square miles, that was being tapped into as a result of gaming being available to them on the southwestern side of the island compared to up the way.
And
Talk a little bit about
and that's the important point. Accessibility.
There we go.
To go to DV or to travel, I mean,
yeah. It's a nice drive.
Yeah, it's a nice drive, but not everybody.
But if I go get gambling in 5 minutes compared to a 30-minute drive,
absolutely.
that changes everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And that shows you that, like you said, the appetite is there.
Mm-hmm.
But we now have to capitalize on that appetite and use the funds generated in such a way that St. Croix further develops.
Correct.
Because we know it's there. But going back to problem gambling, we don't really have the stats at this point to tell you exactly, but we know it exists. The voluntary self-exclusion. Somebody will come, for instance, and ask to be put out for 3 years. Within 6 months, they want to come back and reapply for re-entry.
Imagine that. yeah. But that's human behavior as well, too, no? Right? Everything in numbers. You follow what I'm saying? Right. And I'm a numbers proponent, but I know everything in numbers. Behavior is what it is, an appetite to want to do something. So my friend Edwin Melendez said last year, right, the number went up in Puerto Rico to 350 million. But he also mentioned sports betting, right? So there's another dynamic in play as well, right? You know, I'm glad I came on today because the reality is, the Virgin Islands, let me look at the macro now. If somebody living in Florida want to come to the Virgin Islands, ain't got no immigration involved, Mr. Chairman. Right? Pull the microphone over there. They could hop on a plane, they show their passport or their driver's license.
The driver's license,
and,
right.
And they could enter into the Virgin Islands.
That's right.
Right? Unlike if they go into a foreign island, Long Island, they got to go through the immigration process. You want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So with these dynamics in play, I gonna ask it got you can't see him, but he's sitting on a stool there, with his legs crossed because he waited for me to ask this question. The elephant, the gorilla in the room. When is St. Thomas and St. John? You got ready to laugh, right? When is it St. John? Because keep in mind, I want to educate the public. Casino gaming is a Virgin Islands law, correct, but it isn't zoned for St. Thomas. It is zoned only for St. Croix.
Only for St. Croix.
Break that down to the public so they can understand.
Yes, and like you mentioned that with the referendum that preceded the enactment of the CRCA, and St. Thomas, St. John said no.
No, they rejected that.
Your former colleague, Senator White, Casino. I remember that clearly. But yes, so because of that, right, like you said, it's a Virgin Islands law, but it is restricted via the zoning restrictions to the District of St. Croix, the casino zone.
Yeah, because the zoning designation determines what kind of activity could take place in that particular zoning area.
Absolutely.
Right, that zoning area, right?
Absolutely.
Now, we had a legislation, we had a big session in 2022, and there was some modifications. So are you responsible for law? Are you responsible for executing the law, right? So as I want to let the public know, you don't blame the Casino Commission. They're only in the regulatory role. The legislature is the one who will determine where a certain activity could take place, right? So we want to get that.
And I just want to say that that this industry, not just nationally but globally, this industry is highly regulated.
Yeah, talk about that real quickly.
Highly regulated.
If you're coming in, don't believe you could do what you want.
No, you can't. It's strict. I mean, some people bark at this, but once you come in and apply for a license, you got to pay. You got to pay, and not only that, you're investigated depending on the type of license that you come for.
Of course.
And a casino license.
This is to protect the Virgin Islands from itself.
That's right. Well, the entire industry. Yeah. I mean, we know what happened in the early days back in Vegas with Bugsy Siegel and all that. And from that, those
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City. Yeah. Those restrictions came in. So but it's highly regulated. As I said before, every entity that touches the casino, a licensed casino, must pass through the casino control
every
commission.
Aspect associated with a casino.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay.
One of the things that I want to make sure that we get in before time runs out, is that we are so proud of what we did with the this MOU signing with the Department of Health, and we want to give a shout out to Commissioner Husta Encarnacion for partnering with us. We are so proud of that come June, when we go to the annual conference of the North American Gaming Regulators Association, we were selected to make a presentation, on our efforts to accomplish that.
So
we're very proud of that.
So who gonna be in front of them like yanking?
This whole effort,
Miss Smith, you're gonna be up there yanking up a stamp bragging about playwisevI.org, man.
Well, we'll be joined up, and who will be leading the effort is our colleague from St. Thomas, Commissioner Herman Purcell. But we'll all be there, So
congratulations.
Thank you so much. We're very proud of that.
But I'm not surprised because we've been leading for hundreds of years.
Yes.
Going back to who created the banking system in America, the Virgin Islands, Alexander Hamilton. So this ain't nothing new, you know what I mean? But I deserve all your props and all that stuff. Ms. Smith.
Another thing before I go,
because
another thing that we're really, really proud of is that we had our financial audit
came clean
and for 2 years in a row, 2 successive years, fiscal year 21, fiscal year 22, unmodified. Very clean audits, and we're very proud of that.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Again, so Ms. Smith, you're setting up this thing to bring them back maybe before September. You're going to make sure they come back here before September so we could talk some more.
Yes,
and
as
educate
this
the public.
being our 30th year anniversary, we're going to be making a lot of appearances.
That's what we're talking about. Mr. Rene, Commissioner Rene, good to see you, man.
I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to be here with you.
And don't be a stranger, man. Come in. The public like this type of thing, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
And I get a text message. Congratulations to the Casino Control Commission, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
And keep on keeping on and regulate, because that's the name of the job.
Thank you so much. And again, we thank you so much for having us on, and we certainly appreciate it. Okay? You have a great day.
You got it. Great show today. Thank you very much, Amina Salim as well, and the group at the Virgin Islands Healthcare Foundation. And thank you to the Virgin Islands Casino Control Commission as they celebrate Problem Gambling Month. We'll be back tomorrow with the Power Hour, right? And Malik Siku joining us in hour number 2. Talk to you then.
The views and opinions expressed on Analyze This are entirely those of the on-air participants and do not reflect those of the station's board, management, staff, or underwriters.
This with Neville James is underwritten in part by the Virgin Islands Energy Office, powering policies and programs for a more sustainable tomorrow. The Virgin Islands Energy Office, proud to support public media in the Virgin Islands.
Race is complicated. On Code Switch, we don't dumb it down for you.
And on Life Kit, we have advice on everything from money to mental health.
It's Code Switch and Life Kit from NPR.
Saturdays at 2 p.m. on WTJX FM.
Sometimes you need a moment to just step back, relax, and listen to your favorite song. I'm Raina Duras, and on the next World Cafe, maybe I can help you find something new to love, or maybe remind you of something you've been missing. There's so much music out there to enjoy, so take a moment, take a breath, and tune in to World Cafe.
Weekdays at 10 p.m. on WTJX FM 93.1.
Good morning. This is meteorologist Russ Murley with your WTJX local forecast for Thursday, March 13th. It'll be partly sunny with spotty showers. Temperatures 82 to 86 this afternoon. Northeast winds at 10 to 15. Overnight tonight, we'll look for a few spotty showers. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Showers likely tomorrow, 82 to 86. Tomorrow night, a few more showers, mid-70s. It'll be partly sunny with spotty showers on Saturday. High temperatures 82 to 86 degrees. Rip current risk will be mostly low, but we could see some moderate risk, particularly on north and east-facing beaches. So take care if you're headed into the surf zone, not only today, but tomorrow as well.
WTJX 93.1 Charlotte Amalia, your NPR station in the Virgin Islands.
We've seen this movie before, and it doesn't end well. This time, can Congress save us from the drama of another government shutdown? From WAMU and NPR in Washington, this is 1A. Hi, I'm Jen White. Time's running out for the Senate to pass a bill to fund the government through September. While Republicans have a majority, they need Democratic votes to push the bill through. Will Democrats use their leverage to stand up to Trump, even if that risks taking the blame for the shutdown? Also,
we will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C.
How could the nation's capital change if the funding bill goes through? And what questions do you have about the plan and the politics? Email us at 1a@wamu.org.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Corva Coleman. Stocks opened lower this morning as President Trump poured more alcohol on the flames of the trade war. NPR's Scott Horsley reports the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell about 170 points in early trading.
In a social media post, President Trump threatened to impose a 200% tariff on European wines and spirits. The move comes after the European Union said as of April 1st it will tax Kentucky bourbon and other American products in retaliation for